Did you know your iPhone 15 Pro Max was used to film a Hollywood blockbuster? Here are the most important and best camera settings to get similar results on your iPhone with iOS 26. Let's start off from the camera app itself. Open up your camera and here you have some settings that you need to know about. In photo mode, you'll have some options at the top right corner. These are the night mode toggle, which you should keep to auto so that night mode kicks in when there's less light, and you have the flash control. If you click on these dots, this will open more settings, and what we're going to talk about first is the aspect ratio. To get the most photo information, you should always keep the aspect ratio to 4:3. Selecting any other settings will crop your photo. We also have a manual exposure settings. Lowering the exposure will make your picture dark, and increasing it will brighten your photo. So when there's low light, you can bump up the exposure, and when there's more light, you can bring the exposure down. Apple has also moved the live photo toggle inside it with the iOS 26 update. If this option is toggled on, when you take a photo, multiple frames will be saved, then you'll be able to select the best frame afterwards. But this will take up a bit more space. So if you don't want to go through the hassle to select the frame by yourself, then you can just toggle off live. And you'll notice you'll have the night mode option here too. To be able to see the night mode, you'll have to be in a dark environment. And the difference between the night mode outside and inside the more options, here you can enable night mode max. This will give you a more aggressive night mode feature. And depending on the light available, you'll see the number go up. This indicates for how many seconds your iPhone will have to take the photo in night mode. And during the timer, you'll have to hold your phone still or set it up on a stand. And the More Options panel is available in all the picture modes. Now that we're done with the surface level settings, let's head to the main settings so that you can get access to the highest possible photo and video quality. Let's go back to home screen, open settings, scroll down and open camera. Let's start from the very top, which is record video. Open it up, and you'll see 6 different presets. By default, 1080p at 60 will be selected. But if you want to record at 4K 60 FPS, then you can toggle it on. But note that this will take substantially more space. So the choice is yours. Now let's scroll down and we'll take a look at the enhanced stabilization. If you toggle it on, the videos you take will be cropped slightly, but you'll have better stabilization performance. Right below that we have action mode lower light toggle. If you toggle it on, then while taking videos in action mode, the stabilization will be decreased when there's lower light. This can come in handy, so I recommend you to keep it turned on. Then we have HDR video recording, which you definitely want to turn on. And after that, you'll have an option called Auto FPS. When turned on, when there's low light, the FPS will drop, enabling your camera to capture more light. So this is useful if you want to capture videos in low light situations. Right below that we have a very useful feature, which is lock camera. When it's disabled, sometimes what may happen is the camera may switch itself mid-recording. This can ruin your video. So it's recommended that you toggle it off, and you can always switch the camera manually. The last one on the list is lock white balance. When it's disabled, your iPhone will lower or increase the white balance depending on the environment brightness. If it's causing you trouble like overexposure, then you can toggle it on and the white balance will remain constant. Now let's go back to the main list, and the second option is Slo-Mo settings. Inside these settings, you'll have 2 options on your iPhone 15 Pro Max. Either 1080p HD at 240 FPS or 120 FPS. For the best Slo-Mo, you'll have to select 240. Again, note that this will increase the file size. In cinematic mode, you can take videos with shallow depth effect, which can give your videos cinema vibe right from the box. And inside these settings, you can bump up the quality from 1080p to 4K at 30 FPS. Then we have record sound. Make sure it's set to stereo for a more detailed audio experience. And here you also have an option to allow audio playback. When enabled, if you're playing some audio on your iPhone, the playback will not be paused when you're recording a video. So with this toggled on, you can play a song and record a video to add it as a background music. The fifth option, formats, is very important. Let's open it up, and you'll be greeted with the camera capture format first. High efficiency or HEIF will be set to default, and in this format, photos will take less space. Then why you should use most compatible? This is useful when you want to share the photos taken on your iPhone camera with different OS devices like Windows or Android. Now let's move to photo capture. Inside photo mode, you can either choose 12 megapixels or 24 megapixels, and you'll obviously go with the latter. Right below photo capture, you have ProRAW and resolution control. When this is disabled, you won't have the option to capture photos in 48 megapixels. And after I enable it, you'll see now we can switch to 48 megapixels. This will also give you more editing flexibility. Right below ProRAW, you'll have Apple ProRES. When this is disabled, you won't have the ProRES option in the video mode. After enabling ProRES, you can further select which encoding you want to use. But the thing is, this is only useful if you're a professional and the videos will go through editing in post. This also takes up a lot of storage. So if you just want to take regular photos, then you should keep these settings disabled. Next up is preserve settings. Here, you can choose which settings you want to keep unchanged. For example, if you toggle on camera mode, whichever camera mode you were using the last time will be preserved the next time you open the camera app. By default, this would automatically change to photos whenever you exited out from the camera app. And the same principle goes to all of these toggles. So, turn on whichever settings you want to keep. After preserve settings, we have three handy-dandy toggles. You can toggle on or off volume up for burst photos, and you can also enable or disable QR code scanning and text detection. The next section is composition. Here you can enable grid line and level assistant so you can line up your photos perfectly. You also have the option to mirror your front camera. I'll recommend you toggle this option off so that you'll be able to see how you're viewed by other people. Then we have view outside the frame. Keeping it enabled will allow you to view what's around the frame. There's a new option in iOS 26 called indicators. Here you can choose which options to hide in photo and video mode. For example, the live photo toggle in photo mode. Below this we have the photographic style, which was introduced in iOS 18. This actually boils down to personal preference, but if you want to do the editing yourself, then you should always stick to standard. We're almost done. Now we're just left with some simple settings. So next up, we have the main camera settings. Let's open it up, and here you can either enable or disable additional lenses, and needless to say, you should always keep them on. And after they're on, while you're inside the camera, you can tap on the 1x button to switch between these lenses. And furthermore, you can select which lens you want to default to whenever you open the camera app. Then we have some toggles. Portraits in photo mode will capture additional depth data, and this will enable you to apply blur later. Then we have prioritize faster shooting. You should keep it disabled if you want to capture every image in highest possible quality. Then you have lens correction. When enabled, this can reduce distortion from the edges of your photos. Next we have macro control. When enabled, your iPhone will switch to macro whenever you get too close to a subject. But if you don't want macro to kick in automatically and ruin your shot, disable this. And at the bottom you have two other options which are self-explanatory. Now that you know each and every camera settings of your iPhone, you'll be able to choose the best camera settings confidently. Good luck and stay tuned.